If we have a winning process to make money, which value betting is? We can see from the last video that within 5 million bets, over 4 million euros of profit was generated. And then the key is to be mentally fit to execute this strategy, because value betting is not just one simple ride. That's not how the profit graph is going to look like. The profit graph is going to have a wave-like quality, and that is because of variance. And knowing how to deal with variance is crucial for our long-term profits. When we are good at dealing with variance, we can execute the winning strategies more optimally, thus meaning we will make more money in the long term. While this is simple, we have a winning strategy. All we have to do is follow it to execute it. That doesn't mean that it's easy, because of the fact that we cannot make profit with every bet. And that means that we have to be prepared to see some downfalls, some downswings in our profits. That can lead to many limiting beliefs, it can lead to lack of motivation, or even stopping value betting at all, which then basically means that we are burning money. So this video is designed to help with that, how to deal with variance. There is 3 main points in this video. The first one is the role of variance and expected value. The second one is understanding what we can control and what we cannot. And the third one is trust the process. So first, what is variance? It can be really easily understood as the deviation from expected value. So if we place a bet of 100 euros to a market that has odds of 1.90 and the value of this bet is 3%, well then the expected value for this bet is 3 euros. But if this bet wins, we win 90 euros. If this bet loses, we lose 100 euros. So we can right away see that a single bet has huge variance. We're going to be way up from the expected value or way down from the expected value if we only look at one bet. But everything changes once we add more repetitions. So once we have, let's say, 10,000 repetitions, the luck part has been evened out, meaning that what remains is the expected value. And like we saw in the 5 million bets video, once we have enough repetitions, then our profits will be very closely linked with the expected value. But in the short term, it's not up to us what happens in the short term. So in the short term, it's inevitable that we will see some downfalls where our results, our profits, are not matched with what is the expected value. And in return, there will be moments, there will be weeks where the profit that we're making is not matching how much it should be. We're just going way up in the curve. And that's all okay. That's part of the process. That's perfectly normal. The second important thing is to understand what we can control and what we cannot control. So what we can control in value betting is how much bets are we placing? What is the stake? What is the value percentage that we choose to bet on? How many bookmakers are we having? Etc. So those are the factors that we can control. Then there is a lot of things that we cannot control. We cannot control how long it will take for our profits to be realized. We cannot control what is the short-term profit of our bets. It's not up to us, but we can be absolutely sure that once we have enough repetitions, we will profit. And I can share something from my journey as a value bettor. So when I was betting last year in 2021, it was a bad time in COVID. A lot of weird stuff was happening in the sport market. Many of the games were played without audience. The away teams were performing way better than ever before because there was no one seeing the games, etc. So for 6,000 bets, I didn't make any profit at all. This is very unlikely to occur. But it does happen for some percentage of the time. And I understand the frustration in investing. The same applies in poker. Even though we have a winning process, we are making the right moves. Sometimes we are not instantly getting the results. Then again, during the last 400 bets, I've made over 1,000 euros profit, which is way more than I'm supposed to have. So it works in the both ways. But it's just basic human emotion that losing something feels way worse than what's the positive emotion when we're getting something. So where we are going with this is, there's no ultimate implication with a bad feeling, such as frustration. The feeling of being frustrated after making a lot of bets and not getting what we're supposed to, that's just force of nature. If we can find a way to work with that emotion, eventually that downswing will end and we will be back on track on making profits. And then there's one customer that I helped who made 5,000 bets and he's made over 16,000 euros in profits. And he's been running way over expected value. And that's just how it works. It's not up to us. We just have the process. We can only act with the information we have. And that leads us to the point number 3, trusting the process. We have a winning process here. Value betting is a proven way to make good returns on our investment in the long term. We are talking about months. So what we need to do is commit to the process. Every day we will do from 20 to 50 bets, especially in the weekends, because that's just the best time. We have the highest amount of bets, we have the highest amount of value. The key is to make betting a habit, because it only takes from 20 minutes to 2 hours per day maximum. The person who I coached who made 16,000 euros profit, he only used about 40 minutes per day for betting, and in the weekends maximum 2 hours. And that's just incredible returns. And he made that because he had a habit. It's never nice to go through the downswing. So another key is to acknowledge the mental commentary, but not feed it further. So it's going to be there. It doesn't feel good to lose money ever. It gets slightly easier, but it's always devastating to lose money. Since we have a winning process, what we need to be able to do is to deal with that emotion. So let's allow it to be there, but we are professionals. We have a habit, we have a process of betting. And if that is our mindset, that we are trusting the process, we are making betting as our habit, the only outcome possible is that we will profit, because our investments have positive expected value. And once we add repetitions, that positive expected value will be realized as profits. I hope that you found this video in some way valuable. I really know what it feels like when you're doing a lot of work, you're not getting the returns. It's not a fun feeling, but it's just a feeling. If we have a winning process, then the key becomes, can we actually deal with that feeling? And if we can, the process is going to make us winners because it's a winning process. My name is Mikael. Thank you so much for watching this video.